Reggie Rowe, infamous Second Son. Infamous Second Son drops you into a world where people with superpowers called conduits aren't seen as heroes. They're hunted, locked up, treated like weapons instead of people. The government got an iron grip on the situation through the DUP, led by Augustine, a conduit herself who enforces control with an iron fist. Deslin Rowe? Just some rebellious dude from a small Akamish tribe who liked tagging walls and pissing off authority. His older brother, Reggie, a cop, the responsible one, the guy constantly bailing Delzin out of trouble. But when Delzin accidentally absorbs powers from an escaped conduit, everything changes. Instead of turning him in, Reggie chooses to stand by him. He doesn't get it, doesn't like it, but he's not leaving his little brother alone in this. And that loyalty gets him killed. It all happens when Delsin and Reggie storm Augustine's facility, desperate to save their people, because Augustine, in all her authoritarian glory, decided to teach them a lesson by embedding concrete shards into their bodies. The only way to fix it? Steal her powers, and Delsin, still figuring out, willing to do whatever it takes. Reggie isn't. He's been uneasy this whole time, helping Delsin, sure, but never comfortable with it. He just wants his brother safe, their tribe healed, and his world to go back to normal. But Delsin isn't backing down. He's pushing forward, tearing through Augustine's soldiers with Reggie at his side, trying to make things right. Then they get caught. Augustine doesn't hesitate. She slams Reggie into the ground, trapping his legs in her concrete. Delsin is freaking out, trying to pull him free, but it's useless. The way Delsin screams, it's not just grief, it's devastation. It's the moment his world breaks. And for the next few seconds, it doesn't even feel like a game, just pain. And the worst part? There was no reason for it. Augustine didn't need to kill him. Reggie wasn't the threat. Delsin was. She did it to break him, to take away the one person who always believed in him. And for a second, it works. Delsin doesn't just grieve. He erupts. He comes for Augustine with everything he has. Roach and Ghost, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Gary Roach Sanderson and Simon Ghost Riley are two names that echoed through the franchise. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 players. Ghost, codenamed for his signature balaclava and quirky British one-liners, and Roach, the silent player character who always got the job done. They became fan favorites. Their journey with Task Force 141 was a roller coaster of intense missions and team spirit and all that army stuff, but their story took a harrowing turn during the mission Loose Ends. In the mission Loose Ends, they were tasked with infiltrating one of Makarov's safe houses. Roach and Ghost were on a high-stakes operation to extract vital intelligence. They fought through waves of enemies, securing crucial data that could turn tables against Makarov. After successfully retrieving the data, they assemble with General Shepard's extraction team. Relief was short-lived. In a gut-wrenching twist, Shepard turns on them. As the emotional music continues, players were left in complete disbelief. This moment was pure heartbreak. I literally cried watching our favorite guys get done so dirty. Shepard doesn't hesitate. Doesn't even give them a chance. He shoots Roach first, point blank, like he was nothing. Well, Ghost tries, but before he can even react, Shepard turns the gun on him too. And as if that wasn't brutal enough, they're buried alive. And just to twist the knife deeper, Roach is still conscious, still watching as it happens. Price is screaming through his intercom, begging him not to trust Shepard, but it was too late. John Soap Mactavish, COD MW3. John Soap Mactavish. Just saying his name brings back a flood of memories. From the guy we first met in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Soap was that guy, the rookie with balls of steel, the one who'd break a door without hesitation, the one you'd want watching your six. Over the years, we fought alongside and with him, from the narrow streets of the Middle East to the icy terrains of Russia. He wasn't just a character, he was a brother in arms. His journey from a fresh-faced sergeant to the battle-hardened captain of Task Force 141 was nothing short of legendary. But then, MW3 hit us like a freight train. In a mission to take down the bad guy, Makarov, everything went sideways. An explosion, sudden, violent, left Soap critically wounded. I remember after this scene I just sat there, staring at the screen. No words, no reaction, just pure, empty shock. Soap wasn't supposed to die. He wasn't supposed to die like this. And the worst part? Captain Price. The hardened veteran, the man who never lets his emotions show, is breaking apart. To him, this wasn't just another soldier lost in battle. This was his best friend, the one who saved his life back in MW1, the one who had been by his side through everything. Ethan Mars, Heavy Rains. In the game Heavy Rains, the protagonist, Ethan Mars, was a man whose life was once filled with love, family, and success. A devoted husband and father, he lived peacefully with his wife, Grace, and their two sons, Jason and Sean. But one moment, everything changed. During a routine trip to the mall, Jason wandered off into the crowd to look for his younger brother. Ethan searched frantically, only to spot him across the street. As he called out, Jason ran towards him, unaware of a car speeding his way. Ethan lunged to save his son, but it was too late. The impact was fatal. Jason was gone, and Ethan fell into a 6-month coma. His family, just like that, left shattered. When he awoke, his life was unrecognizable. His marriage had crumbled, his bond with Sean was severed, and his mind was plagued with blackouts. But his nightmare was far from over. One day at the park, he tried to reconnect with Sean, playing together for the first time in years. Then, another blackout. When he regained consciousness, the park was empty. Sean had been kidnapped. The origami killer had taken him, forcing Ethan into a brutal spiral of events where every decision shaped his son's fate. Each choice pushed him closer to Sean, every sacrifice proving his love. The game unfolds based on choices, leading to multiple endings, but none are as devastating as the one where Ethan arrives at the old warehouse alone, where he goes to rescue his son. The police, believing him to be the kidnapper, shoot him multiple times. He collapses, his vision fading, still reaching for his son. Sean, freed from the well, sees everything. He watches his father bleed out, screaming in agony, begging him to stay alive. Sean, now fatherless, sobs over his lifeless body. It's the most painful ending, where despite enduring unbearable trials and his life taking wild turns, Ethan is robbed of his redemption. A father who gave everything, only to have fate steal it away at the final moment. Sarah Miller, The Last of Us. No parent should ever have to bury their child. In The Last of Us, Joel's world shatters when his daughter, Sarah, is gunned down in his hands. He did everything to protect her, but it wasn't enough. Just like Ethan Mars in Heavy Rain, who sacrificed his body and soul to save his son. In The Last of Us, it starts as the world is falling apart. A deadly cordyceps infection spreads like wildfire, turning people into zombies. Joel, a single father, rushes home to find his 12-year-old daughter, Sarah, confused and scared. There's no time to explain. The world they knew is gone. Joel, Sarah, and his brother Tommy flee as their town descends into chaos. Streets are burning, people are screaming, and no one is safe. Then, their truck crashes. Sarah's leg is injured, making escape almost impossible. Joel picks her up, running through the madness, desperate to keep her safe. Then, relief. A soldier appears, their one hope of survival. But hope turns to horror when the man hesitates, then raises his gun. He's under orders, no exceptions. The gun fires. Joel falls, but Sarah is the one hit. The realization sinks in as she gasps in pain. Joel begs her to hold on, his voice cracking. Sarah dies in his arms. Just as the soldier moves in for the kill, Tommy arrives and shoots him down. But it doesn't matter. Joel spends 20 years completely broken over the loss of Sarah. Joel Miller, Last of Us Part 2. Now, after 20 years, Joel found something he never expected, a second chance. He met Ellie, a girl immune to the infection, and against all odds, she became like a daughter to him. He protected her, fought for her, and when faced with the choice, he lied and even killed a doctor who tried to operate on Ellie and create a cure through her immunity. And then, just like before, everything was ripped away from him. In The Last of Us Part 2, Joel's past comes back to haunt him. He and Tommy save a stranger, Abby, not knowing she's the daughter of the doctor he killed to save Ellie. She isn't just some survivor, she's out for revenge. And this time, our man Joel doesn't make it out alive. Joel and his brother walk right into Abby's vengeful plan. Captured and outnumbered, he's beaten to the ground, helpless. Abby's choice of weapon is a golf club, and she doesn't just use it, she destroys him with it. She smashes Joel's head to a pulp, his skull cracking open. All while Ellie watches and screams, begging for it to stop. But Abby doesn't stop. She makes sure Joel suffers. It's one of the most brutal, soul-crushing scenes I've ever had to endure. And just like Sarah, Joel dies helplessly. A father who fought for both children, only to lose everything in the end. Sarah's death broke Joel. Joel's death broke Ellie. The cycle of pain continued. Lee Everett, The Walking Dead Season 1. Lee Everett is the main protagonist of Telltale Games' The Walking Dead Season 1. Before the apocalypse, he was a history professor at the University of Georgia. His life took a drastic turn when he was convicted for murdering a state senator who had an affair with his wife. While being transported to prison, the onset of the zombie outbreak allowed him to escape. Seeking refuge, Lee encounters Clementine, a young girl left alone after her parents went missing. Recognizing her vulnerability, he becomes her protector, guiding her through the dangers of their new reality. Throughout their journey, Lee and Clementine form a profound bond, with Lee teaching her essential survival skills. Tragically, Lee is bitten by a walker during their quest to find Clementine's parents. In his final moments, Clementine is forced into a situation no child should ever have to endure. In this heartbreaking scene, Lee imparts his final words of wisdom, teaching Clementine about resilience and the importance of survival. Depending on the player's choice, Clementine may have to make the unimaginable decision to shoot Lee before he turns into a walker. And she was just a kid, for heaven's sake, a child forced to say goodbye to the only person who truly protected her, left alone in a world overrun by the dead. Aunt May, Spider-Man PS4 2018. Aunt May always plays a pivotal role as Peter Parker's moral compass. She provides aid to those in need, expressing the virtues of kindness and selflessness, the very ideals that Peter strives to uphold as Spider-Man. As the narrative unfolds, Aunt May becomes infected with the deadly Devil's Breath toxin, a bioweapon released by Dr. Octavius. Along with countless others in New York, she falls gravely ill. The outbreak is so widespread that makeshift quarantine camps are set up across the city. As May's condition worsens, Peter fights desperately to stop Doc Ock, leading to one of the most emotional battles in the game. In a heartbreaking moment, he is put in a dilemma: give her the cure now and save her, but that would mean dooming thousands of innocent people who would still have a chance. Peter chooses to save the many over his own loss, allowing the antidote to be mass-produced to help countless others. In her final moments, Aunt May reveals that she always knew Peter was Spider-Man, and tells him how proud she is of the man he's become. Her death strengthens Peter's sense of responsibility, and mirrors the loss of Uncle Ben, reinforcing the theme of sacrifice that defines Spider-Man's journey. Peter makes the hardest choice. Aunt May dies, and Spider-Man is left with another loss he'll carry forever. A hero's duty will always come at a cost. Aerith's death, Final Fantasy VII. Aerith's death in Final Fantasy VII is one of the saddest moments in gaming history. She wasn't just another party member, she was hope, kindness, and light in a dark world. From the moment Cloud meets her in the Sector 5 slums, Aerith becomes a central figure, both in the story and the hearts of players. As the last Cetra, she had a deep connection to the planet, making her the only one capable of summoning Holy, the one force that could stop Sephiroth's meteor. But that's exactly why she had to die. Sephiroth, fearing Holy would ruin his plan, struck first. As Aerith knelt in the Forgotten City, praying to the planet for salvation, Sephiroth descended from above and impaled her with his sword through her stomach. Sephiroth's blade didn't just pierce Aerith, it pierced every player's heart as well. Cloud rushes to her, holding her lifeless body as the soft piano music swells, holding Aerith in disbelief. Aerith's death wasn't just heartbreaking, it was cruelly unexpected. It left players stunned, mourning a character who meant so much. And yet her sacrifice wasn't in vain. Her death was felt throughout the rest of the game. Aerith wasn't just a beloved character, she was the main healer. Every fight after her loss felt off, like something was missing. Because someone was actually missing.